Can I play with the soundboard?
Mm-hmm.
Hey. And that is our intro.
That is the intro.
Cue theme!
Off. Spin-off. Podcast.
Hi, I'm Brian.
I'm Shaheer.
And this is
Spin-Off.
the podcast where we take a show and we both pitch spin-offs for that show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we do.
The concept of our podcast is literally the name of the podcast.
We spin shit off.
Yeah.
And that's why our name is Spin Shit Off.
Oh, wait, have I been promoting this incorrectly?
Yeah, Spin Shit Off the podcast
That's what
at
the
gmail.com.
slash is. It's just
Yeah, it's just shit. It's it's the word shit written out really thin. What show are we spinning off today?
keeping that. Today, we are spinning off. I'm pausing for dramatic effect because it's a drama. House.
Is this the intro to House or just a Massive Attack song? Who knows? House is a American television medical drama that originally ran on the Fox network for 8 seasons from November 16th, 2004 to May 21st, 2012. The series' main character is Dr. Gregory House, played by Hugh Laurie, an unconventional, misanthropic medical genius who, despite dependencies on pain medication, leads a team of diagnosticians at the fictional Princeton Plainsboro Teaching Hospital in New Jersey.
Sound like the narrator for Bar Rescue. This bar is seating for 12 in an island bar.
I love Bar Rescue. Can we spin off Bar Rescue?
We could. Let's do it.
Freestyle spin-off of Bar Rescue. John Taffer realizes that he is a dickhead and he goes to therapy.
Okay, so there's an episode of Bar Rescue. It's like the first ever recorded episode. They just didn't air it originally because of licensing or like whatever.
I think I watched it.
Yeah. Completely different character there. Like he's wearing like
He's wearing
shorts.
like a Hawaiian shirt. Yeah.
He's like calmly talking to them, like acting like a normal guy. And then it cuts to like a future episode of him just being like in a suit, everything's super dramatic. He's like, "You're gonna ruin it." Like he's just smashing into things.
Yep.
It's like you can tell someone was just like, you gotta make this more dramatic. Like we need more of a Gordon Ramsay kind of character here.
He was the creator of the butt funnel.
He was the creator of the butt funnel. He says that like 6 times.
All the time.
But even Gordon Ramsay, if you look at like the British versions of his shows, like of Kitchen Nightmare, he just like calmly sits down with the owner of the restaurant and like talks to them.
And then he comes to America and he's like, look, you little shit.
There's just like long shot. There's no like close-ups or like super dramatic like cuts. It's just him talking, be like, all right, so this is what's wrong with your restaurant. Like this is what you need to improve on. So House. So when House was out, there was like the Stephen King TV miniseries that had, I think it was Stephen King, that had something with the word house in it. And I remember seeing commercials for that. And that was around the same time like House premiered. And I just always assumed that they were the same thing. So I didn't watch House because I thought it was like a horror movie. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
Anyway, there was something, and I just assumed that was what House was. And so I thought it was a horror movie. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
And that's all I have to say about that.
You're giving me shit about singing a lot during the podcast. You do it almost as much as I do.
I know I do it to make you more comfortable.
Oh, good. I like that you respect who I am and you encourage it.
Yes, indeed.
Even though it should never be encouraged.
Or it should always be encouraged. And this show should just be a karaoke hour.
Just being myself.
All right, I didn't say you should do original music, though.
I want to thank you for letting me be myself.
Why is this worse?
So, House. All right, Shaheer. You know what? I think I'm going to let you go first on this one. I've said it. It is done. It has been foretold. You must go first.
I mean, I guess I can. I haven't pitched in a while. So, my plot is, after succumbing to rapidly progressive thymoma, Dr. James Wilson wakes up in an afterlife and to his delight has made it to heaven. The good times proceed until he meets his new neighbor, Gregory House, and everything goes awry. The title of the show is Why Me? It's a half-hour comedy, and it's on NBC.
I like that it's just a house in the afterlife. So, this kind of thing, what we talked about previously, you kind of just took the main characters of House and just spun them off into their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you're doing House.
No. Do you think he went to heaven and became a oncologist?
You never know.
You think he's an oncologist in heaven?
I mean, if Hendrix is playing guitar in heaven, why can't
Wilson diagnose tumors in heaven?
Yeah.
Do you think there's tumors in heaven?
Yeah, why not?
Do you think there's like a super heaven? God, this is level 1. You still get tumors here?
You don't think tumors get to go to heaven? Heaven's all tumors. It's like, go to heaven. Oh yeah, you got a tumor. Does that mean I'm gonna die? No. You're chill.
It's cool. We're cool tumors. But yeah, no. So it's nothing like House. But you'll hear that in the pilot.
Okay. I'm still gonna question it.
Good. You should. Hey Brian, what's your show?
So it doesn't spin off a character per se. We're spinning off the hospital. The main character is going to be named Carl.
Coral!
And
Coral! Gotta protect Coral! That's my Andrew Lincoln in Walking Dead.
I don't watch Walking Dead.
Coral!
So anyway, the lead character of my show is Carl.
Coral!
He is...
That actually hurt me. It hurt to say.
So, the main character of my show's name is Carl.
I'm going to keep saying it. Coral!
He is the self-proclaimed head of the also self-proclaimed special ops custodial staff at Princeton Plainsboro Hospital. He's a very similar character as Dr. House. He is a no-nonsense, doesn't play by the rules kind of guy. And then he wears a suit, which is completely impractical in the janitorial business because there's a bunch of gross stuff. So it's going to be a half-hour long comedy. Well, I guess comedy drama. It's going to get a little... No, it's comedy.
Can I tell you why I don't like your show?
Why?
Even though the pilot might be great. It's because we all know deep down inside that the janitor from Scrubs should have his own show.
Oh my God, he should.
And this is a slap in the face. Unless you get the janitor from Scrubs in the show.
Well, now I need to.
This could be a crossover event. And he could be on a different floor, so he doesn't even have to deal with the original cast.
So yeah, so that's... Oh, I guess the network it's on... It said House is on Fox, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be on Comedy Central.
Cool.
The janitor is Neil Patrick Harris.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So not Neil Flynn, Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, Neil, nonetheless.
Can like Neil Flynn be the old janitor?
Oh God, yeah. I hope. Yeah, he's like the new guy. This is a prequel to Scrubs at the same time. He's this like bright, young, hopeful. Actually, fuck, I could make that work in my preset pilot. He's hoping that his life is going to be great and everything, and he starts under under Carl. Okay, yep, that's in there. The show's name is Carl, by the way.
Coral.
God, now I'm regretting every decision I've ever made.
You know what? Before we get into pilots, I realized we didn't really talk about House at all.
We didn't.
It's almost like we haven't seen the show. House was one of my favorite shows all throughout high school.
I really liked when they were in a smaller house, and then they got the bigger house.
Tiny House Hunters and Regular House Hunters is the show.
And then I liked when they bought the decrepit house and made it look nice so people would spend a lot of money on it, even though their repairs were shoddy and quick, and wouldn't last. So after like the first couple of years, your house is just falling apart, and you're like, "Fuck! I shouldn't have bought this flipped house."
But yeah, no, House, yeah, House really like the team that they started off with was really good, and then for some reason they blew that up and decided to start with a new team. And when that happened in the show, well, all right, so the original team, I don't ever remember the guy's name.
Chase?
Yeah, Chase. I don't know his like real name.
Yeah,
because it's Jennifer Morrison, Omar Epps.
These aren't actual people; they're characters for our amusement.
Hugh Laurie and Chase. But yeah, okay. So you start off with that main cast, and then you just blow it up, put them in other departments, and then you're like, all right, we're gonna get in Cal Penn, Olivia Wilde, and I always forget the other guy's name.
No. Now you're acting like they did this like season 2. They got rid of everyone. This was like this was halfway through the series.
No, it wasn't. It was after 3 seasons.
How long did the show last?
Like 8. It was 8 seasons.
Here's my thing. And this kind of also goes into like why that works. So I hate procedural medical dramas.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like this show, and that's because, though yes, it's a procedural medical drama, the core has always been House and his character and his relationships and how he's developing as a person, which kind of means that the kind of moving forward and changing, getting new characters and moving the other people to different areas, I really like, because it's not just the same. They could have easily just had the same team do a different medical mystery like every single episode and have none of the overall story change.
The later seasons started to get a little much.
I honestly didn't watch much of the later episodes.
So it was season 4. I just checked. So it's season 4 when they came in, right?
Right.
So a little more than half. But so season 4, you see the new crew come in. They have the fucking...
But they kind of like slowly brought in a new crew, right? Didn't they like replace someone and then... Oh, but then there was a thing where he did like a whole like talent show kind of thing.
Yeah, it was a whole Survivor series.
Yeah, Survival series.
But that was the whole... That was basically like the whole season.
Yeah.
They got rid of everybody.
Oh, and then Amber, right?
Yeah.
She came back and then she died. I really liked that episode.
Mm-hmm. It's a good episode. Yeah, you had the Survivor series. You had the thing with Foreman being too much like House, so he couldn't get a job anywhere else and had to come back. You had Cal Penn commit suicide, and then like because, his ghost was in the show. Olivia Wilde's character had the illness. I forgot.
It was some kind of rare disease.
Mm-hmm. And she didn't want to know if she had it, so she got real promiscuous. House fucking drove a car into Cuddy's house, and he went to a mental institution. The season started with him in a mental institution with Andre Brower.
Yeah, man, I need to rewatch all the House now.
There's a lot of stuff, and then there was a part where like he started dating her, and then you realized all of that was fake.
Again, what I'm saying though is they could have easily just had like a Law and Order of medical shows and been like...
First of all, Law and Order set the tone for House, because all of the changes that happen in House, one could say the same changes happened in Law and Order. Fine. You know how many ADAs died in Law and Order? Like 6 of them.
I've honestly never watched like Law and Order enough to follow like the overriding story. I just see the ones like that are the single like cases.
So Law and Order The original Law and Order doesn't really have that much of a through line to it. Earlier in the show, Sam Waterson's Jack McCoy being a drunk was a big part of it, and then a lot of the issues started to subvert because they were focusing on the procedural parts, and that's where you get like the detective crossover. Right. Like they had new detectives all the time and new people that you didn't hear much about their backstory. Law and Order SVU, on the other hand, there was a lot of their home life in that show. The ultimate procedural show, Law and Order SVU. You can watch it Wednesdays at 8 p.m. on NBC.
Any network that you're watching.
Yeah, pretty much. Whatever channel. If you turn the channel, you might see Law and Order SVU.
Disney Channel? What?
It's just edited for children.
His boop was removed at the scene. Who would cut his boop off?
Yeah, no, it was a really good show. There's a lot of really good episodes that really stuck with me, like when Cleo Thompson was on the show and had the elephantitis, and they were doing the documentary on him.
Yeah.
That was a really good episode. When LL Cool J was on there and he was an inmate on death row.
Yeah. I feel like all the procedurals have like a reality show episode.
Yeah.
Even like ER had one. I'm sure Grey's Anatomy's had one. Law and Order's probably had.
I've never seen an episode of Grey's Anatomy.
Good for you. You don't need to. Grey's Anatomy's one. I watched a couple episodes the first season they came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand how it's still running, right?
Yeah.
I don't understand. But again, a lot of these procedurals focus on a team or a group or like an area, but House focuses on House. Like it's ultimately his show. And I kind of think that's what kind of makes this kind of feel less like a procedural and more like a continuing storyline, because you know it's always him.
You know he's going to pop a perk and play the piano.
But that's why I don't hate it. More beer. I do feel like Ted does better now that I've actually eaten something, though.
That's good.
Yeah. Food is actually good for us. The more you know.
Oh, man, I can actually use this. Hold on. All right. So this is the part where you ask me about my pilot.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like I'm controlling the show now. I can do whatever I want. So, tell me about your finale.
All right. And everybody lives happily ever after.
Good. Change the pace. All right, Shaheer. Tell me about your pilot episode for this show that I completely forget the name of. Did you give a name? I don't know.
It's called Why Me?
It is called Why Me. All right, Shaheer. What's your pilot episode?
The episode opens very somber in tone. In a rural, tropical retreat, we see a grief-stricken, aged Gregory House over the body of a fading Wilson. They share an intimate moment of friendship as Wilson passes on. House turns around with a tear in his eye, pauses, and chugs a bottle of tequila. He walks out of the residence, and right next door is a whorehouse. Then this is where the intro comes in, which is going to also be an intro song by Massive Attack, because why not? Massive Attack is awesome.
It's just the end of that same song.
All right, so then cut back from the credits. Wilson wakes up in a beautiful utopia, heaven, and is showcased around by a shadowy figure. He lives a normal day, getting used to the environment, learning the ins and outs, and shown around. And then the camera finally pans around to reveal the tour guide as Michael. Then he introduces Wilson to the neighbors, including Eleanor, Chitty, Jason, and Tahani. If you don't know, this is a backdoor pilot within The Good Place on NBC.
God.
Michael turns to see that there is a new resident in the neighborhood, and he brings him over. This resident is one Gregory House. Wilson looks in disbelief.
So, is House real, or is this a bad place depiction.
House is real because this takes place during the first season of The Good Place, before they know that it is actually The Bad Place. Spoiler alert. So Wilson, it turns out, actually figures out that it is The Bad Place because of the presence of House.
And House is known all along.
House knows all along.
He knew as soon as he got there.
Exactly. As soon as he got there, he knew. He knew he wasn't making it up there. So as soon as he found out that the drinks were good, he played along. So Wilson goes in sidebars with House. He says, "Hey, this is great, but how did you get to heaven? Did you sign like a fucking order, a decree? Did you change your life when I passed?" And he was like, "Oh no, I think I was even worse when you died." He's like, "So how did you get to heaven?" He's like, "Wilson, you were a doctor your whole life. You can't tell? We're in hell." Okay.
I'm upset that I've given you this power. So
what's your pilot?
I'm glad you can only have like one thing queued up at once. If you had like a whole soundboard, we would become a weekday
morning
DJ show.
Weedy at the butt.
Wah, wah, wah!
It's Friday. Burr, 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 burr,
Brr, 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 brr. Oh yeah.
Oh, snaps is about to go down. Brian Fran's about to hit you with his pilot episode. Oh, you ain't ready for this right now. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage to present his pilot, none other than my co-host, Brian. So, Brian, what's your pilot?
So my pilot, it opens in the...
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So my pilot opens at the hospital.
I'm not going to do it.
So my pilot opens at the hospital. It opens with doctors running around, bustling throughout. And then it cuts to two doctors casually sipping coffee. One of the doctors takes a step back. The other quickly stops him because it becomes obvious that he's about to step in vomit on the ground. It's close up to the vomit on the floor, and it cues dramatic music, and it cuts to the theme. We start the show with Carl walking down the hall, and they're talking. He's like, "What do we have?" And the other guy's just like, "Vomit." He goes, "What kind of vomit?" And the guy's just like, "What do you mean? It's just vomit." So Carl like refuses to clean it until he can identify where the vomit came from and what type it is. And everyone else is constantly just like mop up the vomit and disinfect it. Like it's not that hard. So there is a head nurse who is kind of like Carl's like Cuddy, right? That's no,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Cuddy.
that's her name, Cuddy.
Lisa Cuddy.
Yeah. So kind of that back and forth relationship. Where she is just constantly calling him out on his shit, and he continues to do the same things he does. So that character will be played by Maya Rudolph.
Okay, I'm interested already.
The no-nonsense head nurse. So everyone keeps telling him just to clean up, disinfect it. He keeps requesting for tests to be done, and everyone refuses to just follow through on these tests. And so after all this back and forth and arguing with the head nurse about what he's doing, he goes to find that the vomit has been mopped up. It was one of his quote-unquote associates, janitors. They're all on the same level, by the way. No one actually has any real titles. This is all self.
There's no rank.
Yeah, and everyone just
janitors.
like lets him do his shit for some reason.
Does he have like seniority? Is he older? Is he younger?
They're all generally he's just there.
Gotcha.
So Carl's furious that this other janitor is cleaning it up, and he's yelling at him in the break room. As he's yelling at him, he accidentally swings his hand back and knocks a cup of chili out of one of the doctor's hands that were nearby, and it falls on the floor. And then they realize that looks exactly like the vomit that was on the floor, and they both are just like, oh, it was chili on the floor. Yeah. Credits.
Does he lick the floor?
No. If you saw chili spill on the floor, would you lick it?
I don't know. He's a weird janitor. He wanted to run test. That's a good test. The tongue test. All right. Well, it turns out this was actually vomited chili and not just regular chili.
You're not doing it fast enough to make it work comedically. Comedy is all about timing.
Absolutely. The more you know.
I feel like at this point, all the listeners we've had are just like, I'm done.
It's been real. I guess we're going to go ahead and hop off after House.
They were like, I was okay with going off on random tangents, but the more you know theme is too much.
So,
I
how many episodes is my show getting?
What was your show again?
Why me?
How many episodes? You don't even have faith that it's gonna get seasons?
Oh yeah, I did say episodes. Freudian slip. Also, I should say that the end of my episode, the end of my pilot episode does show what's going to happen in future episodes, and all of it is basically House on a Rick Sanchez level trying to best Satan.
Good. 2 seasons.
Cool.
Yeah, because I feel like they'll realize that The Good Place is more successful, and then they will be like, we can't have two shows in the same universe, so we gotta cancel this one.
Why would they not have 2 shows in the same universe?
Who do you think they are? The CW? Shows in the same universe at the same time never work.
Like what?
Like Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, Black Lightning.
What about Law and Order SVU, and Law and Order Criminal Intent?
Or Chicago Med, Chicago PD, Chicago. I think there's not one just called Chicago.
No.
I should probably also pronounce it correctly. Chicago.
Is there Chicago Med now?
There's Chicago Med. There's Chicago PD.
Chicago Fire.
Chicago Fire. That's the right one.
NCIS Los Angeles. NCIS New Orleans. NCIS SIS. Shows can exist in the same universe as long as they don't have the same premise. Also, at the end of season 2, spoilers, they are live again.
The Good Place was one where I didn't watch the first season, but then I started watching like the second season after I already knew like the twist. I tried to go back to the first season, but the whole time I'm knowing what happened, so I didn't really enjoy it as much because the whole time I'm seeing like, oh, like that's why that's terrible, but I wasn't looking at it as like, oh, that's so awkward because she's, trying to be good. Like I do the how it played out.
I think it's still slightly enjoyable.
Oh, it's still enjoyable, but I'm just saying I kind of feel like I cheated myself by not watching it originally unspoiled.
Plot twist. This TV show is now just an episode called Why Me, and they are now castmates in The Good Place. So now cancel The Good Place. You can't, can you?
I can.
How many seasons?
It's only at 2.
Exactly. How many more seasons?
I mean, it's definitely going to get another one.
Mm-hmm.
Probably another one.
Okay.
4 seasons.
All right, I'll take the 3 of the original.
It hasn't gotten an Emmy yet, so it's not that.
Yeah, but it has Ted Danson.
Yeah, but it's still one of those weird enough shows
Ted Danson.
that the network won't understand why it's popular, so they just cancel it.
I don't think NBC does that because they picked up Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
But that's because that was already successful.
Yeah, but it got canceled, and nobody knows why it's successful. And also, it's not as successful as it could be because Fox refuses to keep it on a day. They're just like, all right, it's on Tuesdays. Now it's on Sundays. Now it's on Mondays. Now it's on Wednesdays. Now it's on Thursdays.
Well,
now it's back on Tuesdays.
NBC's never done that never screwed over any shows before.
They're changed.
From like 5 years ago? Actually, probably.
That's a very long time. The only show they shouldn't have canceled is About a Boy, damn it. All right, so your show, I believe, will get 6 seasons.
Aw, you mean it?
Yes, I think it will get 6 seasons. Especially if you have Neil Flynn's The Janitor in it. But yeah, no, I think your show can get 6 seasons. Maybe, I mean, at 5. How many did the middle get?
The middle had 9 seasons.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
9 seasons.
Yep.
Cool.
Am I getting 9 seasons?
No, you're still getting 6. Don't push your luck. Do shows get more than 6 seasons now? Is that a thing?
I just said the middle is 9 seasons.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what's another? I guess Big Bang Theory is long running.
It's the network show. Like,
yeah, network shows are usually long running
because they put a lot of their effort into it. They keep it going.
Oh wait, what channel were you on again?
Comedy Central.
Comedy Central. You're not getting 6 seasons.
Okay.
You're getting 4.
Okay.
Because I think Broad City got 4. Well, Broad City's better than your show.
That was a big drop. A lot of people were counting on those 2 more seasons.
I'm sorry.
Man, like Neil Patrick Harris was gonna give that money to his kids. They were planning a summer trip. You know how excited Maya Rudolph was to have a show that lasted more than 1 season?
Isn't Maya Rudolph on the show right now?
Is she?
I think she is.
What show?
Big Mouth.
Well, yeah. Okay, again, 1 season so far. He's getting a 2nd season.
She's also in Big Hero 6, the series.
I'm saying she hadn't been in any like long-running shows since Saturday Night Live.
Fair enough.
This was a big deal for her, and she was really excited. When season 4 hit, she was like, "This is my break. I'm gonna get."
Up All Night had 2 seasons.
Did it? I feel like I only had 1.
Yeah.
That's literally what the exact show I was thinking of when I was saying she's only been in 1 season. Like, I did not think that lasted past 1 season.
Yeah.
All right. So now's the time where you, the listener, have all
the power.
You can vote for your favorite
sandwich. Jimmy John's, Subway, Cozy.
Is this the poll from hell? Just go to a real deli, get a real sandwich, like a real man.
Okay. All right, so now is your chance. Do you want to vote for a spinoff?
Probably not.
Yeah.
With recent like evidence, no, you don't.
But if you do, thanks. And you can go to http://www.tangentcreates.com/spinoff.
You know who is voting?
Who?
Oh, you know.
Jonathan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Jonathan. Once again,
thank you so much. I know you normally vote for me, which I appreciate a lot. And
I think is a little racist, but I mean...
Whoa. Let's not start calling our biggest fan, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, racist.
No. I mean, I was going to say, but I know by the 14-year relationship that we have that he is not racist. Like, our friendship has taken so many tests. And when you were there for me when my grandma passed away, I'm still Thank you, man. And thank you for the continued support in all of our endeavors.
God bless you, Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
You are an American hero. But yes, so tangentcreates.com/spinoff. You can check us out there. Where else are we, Brian?
Use the Facebook. We're on the Facebook. So go to facebook.com/spinoff. We are on the Instagrams at Spinoff the Podcast. We are also on Twitter at Spinoffcast. No one's going to remember all these variations of Spinoff. Do you have a question, comment, concern? Email us at spinoffthepodcast@gmail.com.
And you can listen to this podcast wherever you're listening to it right now.
Oh, or if you're not listening to it on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher, which are the two podcast platforms we have it on, we also have it on YouTube now.
Yeah.
So you can look at the picture of our faces while you listen to it. If you have YouTube Premium, is that what it's called? Not ready anymore?
YouTube Premium.
The YouTube Premium, you can stop looking at our faces, put your phone in your pocket or step away from your computer or whatever, and just listen to it like a normal podcast.
Commercial free.
Why you're not just doing that on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher, I don't really know, but you be you. Appreciate you.
Thanks again for listening.
Or you can just go to our website. You can go to our website, same one we gave for voting. You can listen to all the episodes.
And download the episode.
You can download the episodes. You can have this episode with you forever.
You can put 127 megabytes onto your phone right now.
Do it.
Do it.
We'll wait.
Thanks. Spinoff Podcasts. TangentCreates.com/spinoff. iTunes.com, Spinoff. Stitcher, Spinoff. Spotify, maybe someday. Not today. Yeah. And as always, I am Shaheer.
And I'm Brian.
And this is Spinoff. Signing off.
Spinoff Podcast.